Greetings, I'm Ben Lee, Game Director for Hearthstone. I'm an avid player and have been since launch, and have played thousands of games over the last 6 years. It is an honor and a pleasure to be a part of the team, and to be here today to talk to you about the game. Every day, millions of you have been playing Hearthstone, so on behalf of the team and Blizzard Entertainment, we want to thank you. We are incredibly grateful to you for your continued support and loyalty. Today, we're going to be talking about what's next for Hearthstone and our exciting plans for the future. But before we do, let's take a quick look back. The Year of the Dragon saw more content than ever before. We've had 3 great expansions, a huge amount of awesome PvE content.
This is the big one, folks! We're taking the fight to evil!
Multiple large-scale live events, and last but not least, the introduction of a brand new way to play in Battlegrounds. With the climactic ending of the year-long battle between the League of Explorers and the League of Evil just behind us, it is time for something new to rise. The Year of the Phoenix. First, let's talk about packs. We want the opening of card packs to be as exciting and rewarding as possible. And when you have more cards, you'll have more options to have fun. So coming with the first expansion of the year, duplicate protection will now apply across all rarities. What this means is that you will no longer receive more than 2 copies of any common, rare, or epic card from a pack until you have owned 2 copies of every card of that rarity from that set. We're really happy with this change, and we hope you will be too. We've also heard a lot of feedback that if you haven't played Hearthstone in a while, getting back into the game can be difficult. So we're making significant improvements to our returning player experience, including the ability to earn a competitive deck for the class of your choice.
I like your style.
With Battlegrounds, we introduced a brand new way to play Hearthstone. This is something we are committed to doing more of in the years to come. We believe that Hearthstone can be a home for different ways to play card games, and are exploring multiple endeavors on this front. Some of these will be epic in scale, like Battlegrounds, and take significant development time, while others will be more humble efforts, such as formats like Brawl Blocks or Wild. If there's a particular format or idea that interests you, let us know. We'd love to hear about it. There's a huge amount of content coming in the Year of the Phoenix. During each standard expansion phase, there'll be at least one major event like the Fire Festival, free PvE content, and significant updates to Battlegrounds. Let's take a look at some of the key content and systems that you can expect to see in the Year of the Phoenix. During Phase 1, we're updating our ranked systems for Standard and Wild. We hope the changes will make ranked play feel more fun and rewarding. In Phase 2, we plan to introduce a new fun way to play that uses your collection and will be similar in scope and scale to Arena. And finally, for Phase 3, towards the end of the Year of the Phoenix, we plan to launch a rework of our progression systems, including the addition of achievements. Throughout the year, we'll be providing you with more details and unveiling more of what we're working on. Check out the full roadmap on our website. In a moment, I'll be handing things over to other members of the team. They'll be revealing our next expansion, Hall of Fame changes, quality of life updates, and providing more information on some of the content and systems that we've revealed for the first phase of the Year of the Phoenix. Right now, we have one last secret to reveal, and I hope you're prepared for what's next.
There's a darkness in the garden of the heroes that you know, casting shadows even blacker than the night. There's a prisoner walking free who still envisions what could be, though long ago he sacrificed his sight. There's a villain who's been hated, and a savior who's been shunned, who's tasted of a love that cannot be. They're all one and the same, and the worlds all fear my name. The hero that you never thought you'd see.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Year of the Phoenix Showcase. I am Brian Kibler, joined by Dean Ayala and Chad Nervig from the Hearthstone team. Thank you very much to Ben Lee for that introduction, and a lot of stuff to talk about today, huh guys?
Yes, there's a ton of stuff that I'm excited for. The ranked revamp. I think Demon Hunter is the thing that's clearly on my mind as we watch that video. Chad, what are you excited about?
Demon Hunter.
Demon Hunter, yeah, the new class, right?
Yeah, I mean, we see Illidan as a hero right behind us. The hero we never thought we'd see, huh? But
no, he's here now.
Yeah, he is, and a lot more here today to talk about as well. So first off, let's run through all the topics we have to talk about today. We're going to be talking about the Demon Hunter class, not just an Illidan hero, a whole new class for Hearthstone. Hall of Fame updates, major priest changes coming, new ranked system, a reveal of the new expansion, and then going to get a chance to play some Demon Hunter as well.
Exciting.
Yeah. So let's just jump into it. I know everyone probably at home is like, okay, oh my God, Illidan, Demon Hunter. Talk us through this. This is Hearthstone's first new class. Why this? Why now?
Yeah, we've been talking about should we do a new class, which new class for like 2-3 years now. But it's only been in the past couple of years that we've really been amping up to get ready to do this. We have been working on class identities, solidifying the strengths and weaknesses of each of our classes so that we have room, a place to put Demon Hunter and create something really novel and exciting.
So what is that place that you really see Demon Hunter having, right? Because, of course, there's already all the classes in Hearthstone. They have kind of each their own place. What's Demon Hunter's place? Where do they fit in?
Well, our main touchstone here is Illidan, right? Illidan is aggressive, in your face. Demon Hunters are brutal, furious attackers that are just there to dive right into battle.
And the sort of identity of Illidan, who he is, kind of his story and everything. How do you take that and turn that into, functionally a Hearthstone class?
Well, we're trying to deliver on this unique gameplay experience. I think the first place that we should talk about is their hero power. I'm sure you just want to dive in and get to seeing things. So let's just do that. Let's just start talking about some cool Demon Hunter stuff. So their hero power is Demon Claws. +1 attack this turn.
I'm not excited. That's like a druid hero power, but worse. Why is this what you're telling me? This is the big cool new thing.
It's only 1 mana.
Okay. All right, we see it right there. So
permanently only 1 mana baseline.
All right, so he's going to show up his brother right there. He's like, you take 2 mana to get +1 attack.
No,
you get some armor, sure, but I'm going to hit you. I only pay the 1. Okay, so how did you get to this being the hero power for Demon Hunter?
We tried a lot of different things here, but ultimately we wanted to deliver on Demon Hunters being like in your face, constantly attacking. And not just the hero power. There's a variety of ways that Demon Hunters get to attack. We've also got spells and weapons also on Demon Hunter.
This sounds like you're gonna show me some spells and weapons, huh? That's what everyone wants to see at home, right?
Yeah. I think when we're making a new class, the thing that we always come back to is like, what is the thing that makes this class feel unique to the other classes? How is it different than Rogue? How is it different than Warlock? Because there's some thematic similarities from the other classes, but mechanically, how does it feel a lot different? And I think having a 1 mana hero power really helps us solidify Demon Hunter as something that feels a lot different. They're attacking all the time. They're taking advantage of their attacks all the time. Whereas Rogue is we're trying to avoid combat by backstabbing, eviscerating, going around their opponent. Demon Hunters are really in your face all the time, using weapons and all kinds of stuff. So
you just show your opponent how it's going to be. Turn 1,
exactly.
Let's go, punch you in the face.
Yeah, right
exactly.
away. It's a little bit actually jarring in playtesting, where it's like, okay, we're getting prepared for this game, and you're getting hit in the face like right away.
It's like, you're already ahead. What's going on here?
It really sets the tone for the game.
Yeah. So let's look at a couple ways that they can attack.
All right,
we talked about their hero power, but let's also take a look at Chaos Strike. Chaos Strike is a simple, basic spell for Demon Hunter. Gives them attack this turn, and draws a card. Card draw is also a strength of theirs.
Okay, so comparing this to, say, a warrior, right? And crucially, just looking at this, not only does it give you the 2 attack, but your hero power adds to whatever attack you have.
Yeah.
So it's much like kind of a heroic strike out of warrior. You can use it alongside a weapon, for instance. But with the card draw, you were saying the Demon Hunter is much more about not necessarily big hits, but just constant attacking. They get to keep sort of churning through their deck, finding more tools to help them in that onslaught.
Very agile. Yeah.
I think one of the important things to note about Chaos Strike is that it is a basic card. So just like Fireball for Mage, for example, is they're spell slingers and they do a lot of things that deal with dealing damage with spells, and they have cards like Sorcerer's Apprentice that take advantage of casting a bunch of spells, whereas Demon Hunter in their base set, they're going to have a lot of things that allow them to attack, and a lot of things that take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's look at another way to attack.
I'm
Let's
in.
look at a weapon.
All right.
Let's see Umberwing. Umberwing is this great early game weapon. 2 mana, 1/2, but it also gives you some board presence.
So this kind of is reminiscent to me of Muster for Battle,
Little
right?
Muster
Like
for Battle
one of
vibes,
the really powerful cards that Paladin had in their arsenal for a long time. You know, not quite there, right? It's not quite as impactful, but obviously a little bit less mana too.
Yeah, a little bit different. Some of the same vibes. Have some fragile minions out there. They're probably going to die and be able to get in your face a little bit.
But you can see that the weapon, the spells, the hero power can all stack and combine, so you can get just enough attack damage to kill off key enemy minions and such.
So they like attacking, you know, and they have these cards that let them attack. What other sorts of cards do they have to support that?
Well, there's also synergies related to that. Because they can attack so reliably, even if nothing else, just the hero power, we also have built these sort of synergy cards. So let's take a look at Satyr Overseer. Satyr Overseer is a strong early game minion that also, as you attack, summons additional allies for you.
And you say combine this with Umberwing, right? You have the Umberwing on turn 2, get a couple of 1/1s.
Exactly.
You then have that weapon already in play. You play this guy on turn 3, you attack again. Now you have just a board full of stuff, and you're picking apart your opponent's board. That seems really powerful.
But suppose you didn't draw your Umberwing. How about another alternative, another way that you could attack?
All right.
And you still want to attack on turn 3 with your Satyr Overseer? Let's look at Twin Slice. Twin Slice is 0 mana, gain 1 attack, and add a second copy of this. So it's kind of similar to a Twin Spell, or maybe similar to a Backstab sort of thing, but just very versatile, flexible.
That card, I think, is this sort of thing where you look at it and it's like, okay, yeah, this doesn't do that much, but then you think about it, it's like, oh, it costs 0. You know, this is kind of like a backstab that if you just use it twice, it's 2 damage to something. You know, you obviously have to attack it too, but can add up. And with all these attack triggers, seems like it has the potential to be a really core card to their kit.
Yeah, you're going to be seeing Twin Slice in a lot of decks in the next year. I think it was a card that we talked about setting the power level of and wanting it to be in a place where it was quite powerful, because it really does set the tone for what we want Demon Hunter to be about, which is like I'm talking about, kind of being an aggressive attacker. There's also like a bunch of different ways to use it. You look at a card like Twin Slice, and then you look at something like Gadget and Auctioneer.
Right.
That's just kind of 2 cards, right? And being able to utilize a lot of different weapons that we're going to talk about a little bit later. So there's lots of different ways to utilize Twin Slice. You're going to be seeing a bunch of it.
Anything that costs 0 has got to be, you know, okay, this is
2.
Got to think about it, right? It's 2
0.
cards that cost 0 in 1 card.
So another reason that you might want to attack, let's take a look at Furious Felfin. So this is an adorable Murloc, first of all. He's recently become a Demon Hunter. But if you've attacked this turn, he's also a very powerful rush minion for only 2 mana.
Yeah, 4/2 rush for 2 is very strong.
It's pretty good, yeah.
And again, if you don't have any of these other synergy cards to help you attack, at least your hero power is always available for only 1 mana.
Do you think that card is stronger or cuter?
Yes.
Okay.
No, that's an appropriate answer, I guess, sure.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. To support all this, you know, what I want to see is, of course, more cards. What else they got, Chad?
Okay, well, it's going to be a theme of this whole broadcast.
That's a theme of, I think, everyone watching along at home is like, okay, next card, come on, show me more, show me more. I'm on your side, Twitch chat.
All right. So next up, let's talk about how, so you're using all these weapons and attacks to take down early game minions to help control the board. You're using your face and you're taking some damage there. Your health is a resource, effectively. But what can you do to replenish that? Demon Hunters are pretty furious. Let's take a look at Aldraki Warblades. So we're not going to have Demon Hunters doing a ton of like huge bursts of large amounts of healing, but this sort of lifesteal small chip healing is very much up their alley.
And I think it's important to note this works really well with Twin Slice or with their hero power, because unlike, say, Rogue, you're talking about the differences between the 2 classes. Rogue kind of re-equips a new weapon with their hero power, and you know, very often you're just like, okay, I've been attacking stuff with my weapon as a Rogue. I got to stop because I'm going to die. But being able to stack all these additional weapon buffs, including your hero power on top of a lifesteal weapon, can really sustain you as you're attacking into minions.
You can like turn Chaos Strike into 2 additional healing. So
Right. And with cards like Chaos Strike and cards like Twin Slice and your Hero Power, you can kind of quickly get up a card like I'll jock your Warblades into something that's healing you for 7, 8, 9. It might take a lot of resources, but if you really are looking for that, if you're really getting low on life, you have that option.
let's take a look at one more lifesteal card. Let's see Soul Cleave. Another cleave type spell, deal some damage and lifesteal it back.
Okay, so another kind of weakness we see in Rogue, if we're sort of comparing, okay, how did this attacking class compare to this attacking class, Rogue doesn't really have much AoE, right? It seems like that's something that will be in the kit for Demon Hunter.
You'll see there is a fair bit of AoE for Demon Hunter.
Okay.
Yep.
And then what, other than attacking, right? We talked about, okay, they're good at using their hero power, getting in there, punching things, killing them, getting their opponent's face. What else do they do?
So this is a new class that is going to be here for years to come. We have to lay a foundation for, they can't just be one note, just hyper aggressive. There's got to be more to them. They've got to have some diversity here. So we've built a variety of different play styles for them. So let's take a look at another one. Illidan is the most iconic Demon Hunter, and he leads an army of Demon Hunters, the Illidari, and they are eager to fight for him. And so that brings us to another type of deck, another archetype, if you will, that Demon Hunters are strong at, swarmy token-style decks.
Okay, so is it like kind of like Druid in that they make a bunch of small minions and they like buff them up and kill you with those?
Not exactly. Let's take a look at the minions here first. Let's look at Coordinated Strike. So this is a great, just very flexible, summon 3 1/1s with Rush.
Well, the Rush part is obviously a huge part of this, right?
Yes.
They're not just summoning these small minions, they're like sending them in to kill your opponent's stuff.
Yes, yes. And let's take a look at a bigger version of this as well. Command the Illidari.
Ooh, that
Similar
is a
sort
lot of
card,
rushers.
But 6 of them for only 5 mana. Now, like you said, many classes might, now you've got this wide board of minions, what do you do with it? You might buff them up. Not so much Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter doesn't really buff their minions very much. Instead, Demon Hunters deal with soul magic. They take advantage of the souls of the fallen. So let's look at Wrathscale Naga. Wrathscale Naga deals damage randomly to enemies whenever a friendly minion dies.
So Soul Juggler has come to standard now. It's actually in base Hearthstone, not just in Battlegrounds.
Soul Juggler.
It's not demons, and it is random enemy, so this can hit your opponent's face,
Can
which
hit face.
can be good, can be bad, depending. But 3's a lot of damage,
Yes.
especially if you combine it with 6 1/1 rushers from
Yeah,
one
if
card.
every one of those also throws a 3 damage glaive. Yeah.
You're going to be seeing a lot of cards like Wrathscale Naga in Demon Hunter. I think the early game minions, like stuff that costs like 1 through 4, you're usually going to be talking a little bit about more minions that are like fragile. You're not going to be looking to build a giant board and then buff all the minions and stuff like Savage Roar and Bloodlust. It's taking advantage of the death of those minions and then kind of building toward either trying to destroy your opponent early or build towards a late game where you're going to run them out of resources and play big minions yourself.
So you're not quite like sacrificing your own minions, but you're sending them in to die, and you don't mind that so much.
Right, where they don't mind it very much.
Yeah, they're like, I'm
demon-
here for this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can also restore ourselves with additional resources based on all of our minions dying as well. Let's look at Feast of Souls. Feast of Souls is card draw.
And that can be a lot of cards. Look at this with Command the Illidari. A lot of decks would use, say, Cult Master, right? But having this on a 2-cost card in combination with all these things that generate tokens that already have Rush, that can be big bursts of card draw there.
Yep, exactly.
I think like even early on in the game, you can, you're sending all these tokens, and if your opponent doesn't destroy them, you're kind of threatening at any time to draw, 5, 6, 7 cards, and it opens the door for any Demon Hunter combo deck that might arise that wants to kind of draw a lot of their deck in order to be really consistent. Like that's going to be something that's available to them to be able to use.
Okay. And then sort of outside of this, like punching your face, sacrificing, not sacrificing, sending my minions in to die, taking advantage of their deaths. We got to draw the line there.
There's a distinction,
There's a different world for them. What else do they do? How else do they win the game?
Well, let's talk about, look at their name, Demon Hunter. What do they do with demons?
I'm going to guess they hunt them.
They hunt demons.
Good
That was,
guess,
just
Hunt them down, eradicate
200
them.
IQ right there, let me tell you.
Yeah, it's a good guess. Their relationship status with demons is complicated.
Okay.
their actual goal, Illidan's main goal, is to stop the Burning Legion, this army of demons that are invading the worlds. And they steal and use demonic powers in order to do that, fighting fire with fire. And demons respect power. Many of the larger and stronger demons out there have swapped sides to join the demon hunters. Demon hunters are fine with this. They already use demonic powers. Why not demonic allies? So demon hunters also use some big demons. So
I like big minions.
So I'll just preemptive you here. You want to see some cards. Let's just do it.
It's like you read my mind.
Let's look at Hulking Overfiend. Here's some big demons.
Ooh, that is big.
He's a big guy. He's going to rush down an enemy minion, and then another one, and then another one.
It's like what was it? Bigger head. He's like
he's
batter head, but bigger.
Yeah. Or perhaps Pit Commander. He's also extremely large demon, and is going to summon more extremely large demons.
See, if your deck is just full of these big demons, this guy's going to get you big demons every time he summons them. But let's be honest, 9 is a lot of mana, right? Like we've got these early game life steal things. How are we surviving till 9 to actually play this as a demon hunter?
Well, 2 ways. First of all, demon hunters have some ways to get out their big demons a little early and a little more efficiently. Let's take a look at Raging Fell Screamer.
Okay, so this is, by the way, the next demon you play costs 2 less, period, not this turn.
Yeah, not this turn.
So you can play this on 4 and then, say, play a 7-cost demon on 5.
Wait in the wings for a while.
Yeah,
okay.
Yep.
Kind of reminds me of Dragon Consort. This is a demon consort, basically.
Yeah, exactly. But they also have control tools to help survive into that late game as well. Most of their minions are pretty. Most of their early game minions are pretty offensively statted, fragile minions, but there are a few exceptions to that. Let's take a look at Wrathspike Brute. Excuse me.
Okay, so this seems like it's really good against a swarm of perhaps Illidari,
exactly,
right?
Yeah, the Illidari and the demons.
She's not quite sure what side she's on. She's like, come at me.
Or Treants, maybe Malfurion's Treants or something, yeah. So she'll AoE the board every time she gets attacked. So all those little swarm decks pose no threat.
Yeah.
Yep. Or just if they do have some larger things, how about just destroy a lot of stuff? Let's take a look at Chaos Nova.
Ooh, 4 damage to all minions for 5 mana. That's, I mean, you compare this to, say, like a Hellfire, right, or even a Flame Strike. Obviously, Flame Strike hits your opponent's stuff and not yours. But in a lot of decks where you're Flame Striking, you were mostly trying to, keep your opponent's stuff dead and don't really care too much about your own.
Yeah.
So that seems really powerful, especially as a demon hunter when you can actually add to that damage with, say, a punch of a weapon or your hero power to take out something that's just out of range, which is often harder for some of the other AoE classes.
Right.
Yeah, Chaos Nova is actually a card that's part of their base set as well. So we want Demon Hunter to have access to things that help them get to late game, so they can play some of these big demon strategies or some expansions in the future. Maybe we have some other control archetypes for Demon Hunter, where it's going to allow them to have support for that to get to late game.
Okay, and obviously we have now sort of a few things that Demon Hunters do, a few strategies they have, but a lot of classes kind of have their own unique mechanics, overload, combo. Does Demon Hunter have anything that's just exclusively theirs?
Yes, they do. Demon Hunters are not the most popular people around. Wielding demonic magic isn't very friendly looking. They're generally shunned by society, sort of living on the outcasts of society. And so that brings us to our keyword that's Demon Hunter specific, outcast.
Okay.
Like rogues have combo or shamans have overload, like you said. Yes, Demon Hunters have outcast. So let's take a look at Spectral Sight.
Okay, so this is a 2-cost card. Draw a card, outcast, draw another. Okay, what does outcast mean?
Outcast.
How do I get my extra card, Chad?
Outcast is a bonus if this is played as the left or rightmost card in your hand.
Huh. Okay, so like say you've been holding onto it for a while and you can find the opportune time to use it, or you just drew it and it's like, all right, now's my time.
Yep, exactly. So this creates some interesting gameplay as like, oh, something might be on the left edge that you need to get out of the way so that your outcast card can outcast. So it creates some interesting gameplay across all the cards in your hand.
It's interesting in gameplay and interesting in deck building. Interesting in gameplay just because you're going to end up choosing to play a way that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise. Maybe you're planning for this outcast thing 3 turns from now. So you think, maybe this card on the left side of my hand, I should get rid of it because I want to do this thing at some later point in the game.
Well, it kind of even makes you think of all your cards differently, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're like, okay, this has this bonus, I want to try and maneuver to get that bonus, that makes me think about when I want to play my other cards and not just this one.
Yeah, exactly. And I think during deck building, if you have a bunch of outcast cards in your deck, then you might be a little bit more motivated to have more lower cost cards. Because if you get that 9 cost card over in the left side of your hand, it's going to be pretty hard to get rid of that at any point. So triggering outcast tends to be a little bit easier, the lower cost stuff that you get.
Sure.
But it's not always, you don't always want to cast outcast immediately when you draw the thing either. So it's kind of interesting. It'll change the way you play and change the way you deck build.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Sometimes you draw one of these cards and it's like, oh man, I had a good play that I was planning to do, but I could play the outcast card now for the outcast bonus. If I don't play it now, it'll probably be a while till I get back to it.
Yeah.
Okay, oh, definitely seems really cool.
Yeah. Let's take a look at another example of this.
More
So
cards.
first of all, I-Beam here. I-Beam, iconic Demon Hunter ability. 3 mana, deal 3 damage to minion, heal yourself a bit in the process. But if you outcast, it's free.
That is serious. That's a big discount on that one.
So let's take a look at this board state, just to talk through this. So enemy's got an SI7 agent here. I could just I-Beam the SI7 agent to destroy it. Or I could play the Umberwing first to move move I-Beam to the left side of my hand. Now it's free, and I get to kill the SI7 agent that way. And that still leaves me 1 mana left over to kill down the Direwolf. Or now even an extra mana.
Your hero power only costs 1.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Bonus.
I think if you were watching from home, maybe there was a more optimal play there with the juggler and everything. But we got the point across.
You get really excited. It's like, I-Beam costs 0 now. Yes, yes.
This is how outcast works. So
Exactly.
yeah, we got that across.
It's also just a really versatile keyword that we can use in a variety of ways. Let's take a look at a couple more examples of it.
That's what I want. Speaking my language. That's what I want to see.
More cards.
More cards.
Consume magic. So this is a silent spell, but it also outcasts for card draw.
Okay, so this is pretty interesting because silence is the sort of thing that's very situational, right? Like, you don't necessarily just want to play this when it's on the far right of your hand.
Right.
But if you don't have a great opportune time to use it, you could just essentially cycle through it just for that one.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting.
Demon Hunters might have a bunch of outcast cards, and like you said, a lot of the outcast bonuses are actually pretty situational, and it's situational by design. So it's not always you get the card and it's immediately always the right thing to do to play it right away. Because say the silence card is sitting on the left side of your hand, and you have some more outcast cards, there's nothing to silence. You have to make the decision whether or not maybe it's the right time for me to cycle this, or maybe I should wait so my other outcasts get over there. That's pretty interesting gameplay.
Sure.
Yep. Let's take a look at Illidari Fellblade. So this is an awesome Demon Hunter.
Okay, this is really interesting. It's got Rush and Outcast immune this turn. So you draw it.
So you draw it, or you are holding onto it for a while. It'll rush down something big and hopefully survive that turn as well.
Okay. I can definitely see how that can be really impactful.
Yep.
All right, well, we've seen quite a few cards so far, but I'm sure you know my question's going to be, and what everyone in chat wants.
More cards.
More cards.
Right.
More cards.
I don't know. We've showed a lot of cards so far.
I think we should probably continue to show more. It's like
Yes.
a card every minute
cards.
or so.
More cards.
Yeah.
More.
All right,
Less talking, more cards.
Okay. All right. More cards. Let's look at their entire basic set.
Ooh.
Almost
their entire basic set. So.
Card reveal season will happen, and we'll reveal a couple more that are hidden in here.
All right, we're not going to touch on everything on the screen here.
Yep.
You guys can check it out either here or eventually on the website.
Yep.
But this, of course, shows Demon Hunter. They're all new class. They'll have a basic set
Yep, just
that
like every
will
other
set their
class.
foundation for what the class does.
Yep.
And of course, have some pretty sweet cards in here as we were talking about.
But let's move on to the Demon Hunter Initiate set. So there's 2 pages of this.
Okay, so
look at these.
Tell me what the Initiate set means.
Right. So the Initiate set is sort of a think of the other classes have all had expansions of cards for years, including You're the Dragon, which is still in Standard. So the Demon Hunter Initiate set is sort of a catch-up that acts as a You're the Dragon rotation purposes mini set. It's 20 cards just for Demon Hunter that also comes with it.
Okay, so that's 30 total Demon Hunter
30
cards we've
total.
seen here. And I'm sure in addition to wanting to see all of them, people want to know, how do I get them, right?
Right. So we've built a prologue that teaches you or shows you Illidan's story, lets you play through and experience Illidan's story. And best of all, it's free. The class is free. All of these cards are free that you've seen here. The basic Demon Hunter Initiate, all 30 cards there, free.
Okay, so I think cards free. That's about what everyone wants to hear in the, in the
lots
chat,
of
right?
cards,
Like
lots of
these
cards.
are some of my favorite things. You get new cards, free new cards, and of course they're going to get more new cards as well. We saw there
Yes.
they're going to get 15 new cards in each of the sets coming up
Yes.
this year.
Each expansion in Year of the Phoenix is going to have 15 cards instead of the normal 10 for Demon Hunter.
Okay,
Yeah,
is
after
that-
you finish the prologue, you're going to have that starter deck for Demon Hunter, which is going to be a really great jumping off point to see what's going on in that class and what are the things that they're kind of good at. And it should be really competitive, just jumping out there. I think you'll be able to support it with all the Demon Hunter cards going forward.
All right, well, I know that I am really excited for Demon Hunter, and I know that I'm going to get a chance to play some Demon Hunter at the end of the stream here, so stick around. We're going to be doing a match of Demon Hunter at the end, but that's all the Demon Hunter news we have today, but we have a lot more to talk about still.
Yes, tons more.
A ton more, and the first of those things is going to be the Hall of Fame. So this is something that everyone has been wondering for a while. When are we going to hear what cards are going to be moving out of Standard?
Yeah, so the Hall of Fame is a place where we get to utilize, it's just a place for us to remove some of the cards for a bunch of different reasons. Some of those reasons are maybe these cards don't fit our design goals anymore, or maybe they've just been around for so long that they're making things feel a little bit more stale than they would otherwise. So we're Hall of Faming 5 cards this year, so let's check them out.
Okay, so these are some heavy hitters right here, and I think that the big question on everyone's mind is, of course, the one on the left. This is a fan favorite, Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, Leroy Jenkins is definitely a card that is both loved and hated, I think, by the community. It's very polarized opinions on Leroy Jenkins. I think among these 5 cards here, I would split them into 3 categories. The first category is both for Leroy and Mountain Giant. They're both very powerful win condition cards. Win conditions in a different way, but win conditions nonetheless. For Leroy, I think when we're playing a bunch of Demon Hunter in playtesting, you'd be ending a lot of games with Leroy. I think you've been playing Hearthstone for any amount of time. You've been Leroy Shadow Stepped probably a few times.
In the same turn, for instance.
Yeah, in the same turn. So a bunch of different classes have been utilizing Leroy as a win condition for a very long time. And while Leroy is a character that we really love, that we're probably going to come back to, maybe not in its current form, at least in Standard, Leroy is a character that we want to be around in Hearthstone. I think that there'll just be different ways for each of these classes to end games as opposed to just having Leroy.
Do you guys have a plan to introduce a replacement for the fun and interactive copy pasta for chat?
I'm sure I depend on chat to come up with copy pastas
it's on you.
their own. Yeah,
It's on you out there.
I'm sure they'll be able to figure it out.
I believe.
Mountain Giant falls into kind of the same bucket in that Mountain Giant comes out in turn 4 in decks like Handlock, comes out pretty early in Mage decks recently. So having those decks play a little bit differently, we really like those strategies. So you can expect there to be replacements for cards like Mountain Giant, but just in ways that make the classes feel a little bit different.
We see something like Abyssal Summoner already, right?
Right,
That comes
exactly.
down. I care about you having a big hand, but it's not just the same giant minion coming down on turn 4.
Yeah, we want to support those decks, and a lot of times, a lot of classes don't really have an option to deal with something as big as a Mountain Giant on turn 4, at least in Standard. So having different ways to do that every expansion, I think, is better than having the kind of the same cards contributing to the same archetypes year after year after year.
Well, speaking of the same cards, kind of, well, not the same archetypes, but doing the same thing year after year, there's a lot of people who I think who have been very sick of Mind Control Tech for a very long time. It already got removed from Arena a while ago.
Yeah.
What's the decision to remove it from Standard here?
I think Mind Control Tech is an example of a card that just doesn't really match up with our design philosophy anymore. It's like really high impact early game randomness. I think in Standard, you can get yourself in situations where you just want to play a bunch of minions. I mean, that's your strategy. You're an aggressive archetype. You're swarming the board. And Mind Control Tech just comes down on turn 3 or turn 4, takes your biggest minion. It doesn't really feel like there's anything that you could have done against that kind of thing. And we tend to design less of those cards these days. And Wild, it's a little bit less of a problem just because of the power level of Wild is so insanely high that mind control tech is kind of not really a big impact there. But in terms of Standard, we just thought it's time for mind control tech to go. We're not really designing cards like it, and we don't really think it makes that experience more fun. So it got the boot.
And I'm totally behind that. I'm sure a lot of people watching now are. I think the other two cards on that list, Spellbreaker and Acolyte of Pain, are probably more of a surprise. What's the decision behind moving those to Wild?
Yeah, I think they're both in their own category as well, in that they're both neutral cards that do this niche thing that all classes kind of share. Like if you're playing a combo deck, for example, and you want to draw a bunch of cards, you have a package of Acolyte of Pain and Novice Engineer and Loot Hoarder, and everyone sort of shares that. And whenever we make new card draw cards, it's hard to make them at a much higher power level than those cards because they're already fairly powerful. So you just end up with these decks that they draw a bunch of cards and they're using the same package. And not only that, they're using the same package of neutral cards. So all the classes actually play very similarly to each other.
So is what you're saying that Loot Hoarder and Novice Engineer should be like watching their back?
Yeah, I think it's important that the base level sets have simple words on them, like draw a card. Drawing cards is important in card games.
Sure.
So having some of those cards is okay, but when you get to a critical mass where all you really need is this package of neutral cards for every class, it can start to make the game feel a little bit more stale. So every expansion now will be able to make a card draw card in each of the individual classes, or maybe we'll put an expansion one in neutral that makes the standard rotation feel different for that year, for example. I think in Wild you don't always see the same cards because they're utilizing different card draw cards from different expansions, and that's how we'd like Standard to play out as well.
And it kind of feels similar to Spellbreaker, right?
Yes.
I've built so many decks, and it's like, okay, 2 Spellbreakers, got to silence that Void Lord and kill you, got to silence that Cube and kill you.
Right. We want a base level silence, and I think Iron Beak Owl fills that role, whereas Spellbreaker is on the higher power level end. I think one of the good examples that we had was when Gluttonous Ooze was in Standard, it gave people a different option for weapon removal than they had previously, something that you might choose over something like Swamp Ooze or Harrison. So being able to make another silence card in an expansion is something that we're kind of excited for, to make the game feel a little bit different. It'll go in an expansion. We want it to be really accessible, so it'll probably be a common card, but just something that maybe it'll be 3 mana, or maybe there'll be 3 classes that have a silence card during a given year, but they'll play no neutral one outside of Iron Beak Owl. So it makes the game feel a little bit different every time.
More reason for people to play the new Demon Hunter Outcast one.
Yeah, for sure. It just makes things feel different.
Okay, cool. And in addition to the neutral Hall of Fame stuff, one of the big things that people have been asking that's been kind of on the radar for a while were these changes coming to Priest, right?
Yes, yeah.
So this is something that's been talked about for a very long time. I believe you have tweeted about it. This is sort of something
I think a bunch of people on the team alluded to it.
So talk me through the thought process of sort of revisiting Priest in the Basic and Classic sets right now, what the decision making was, and why you made the decision you did.
Yeah, I think the biggest reason to go about making more widespread changes to Priest was when we're designing cards for a given expansion. Sometimes we struggle with like, well, what is Priest supposed to do? What are the things that we want them to do? What are the decks that we think are fun? And then how difficult is it to support those archetypes based on the cards that they have access to? I think the really powerful pieces that Priest has, like Northshire Cleric and Power Word Shield, are good at cycling cards, but they're not necessarily good at being something that really helps you get to late game, or helps you control the board, or helps you become a control archetype, which is one of the things that we thought the Priest should be good at. Like, they're good at healing and keeping their minions alive and healing themselves, so they should be good at getting to late game, but they don't have a really good baseline of stuff available. So we wanted to make a bunch of changes to maybe help with that.
Okay, so we have not only some Priest cards which are going to the Hall of Fame, but some others that are being introduced, and then some that are being changed entirely. So
right.
A lot of changes. Let's take a look at that first list.
Absolutely.
Which are the Priest cards that are going to be sent to the Hall of Fame. One that you mentioned already, Northshire Cleric, along with Akanai Soul Priest, Divine Spirit, Holy Fire, Shadow Form, and Prophet Valen. And clearly, this isn't just the most powerful cards, right? This Hall of Fame sort of selection process. No one's sending Shadow Form out because
right.
It's just been oppressively powerful.
Yeah, those Shadow Form decks are too much. Yeah. So I think there's 2 groups here. One of them is the Northshire and Divine Spirit group, which is, these are really, really powerful cards in Priest that, in Divine Spirit's case, support an archetype that's kind of just been around forever. It's not really that fun to play against, and I think for Priest players, they'd rather have something different expansion to expansion themselves.
Oh, I mean, I can speak personally as someone who's played more Priests than any other class, that every time I build a deck and I'm like, you know, this should probably just be better as a Divine Spirit Inner Fire deck, but I just don't want to have to do that again after so many years.
Exactly. And the other 4 cards like Velen and Shadowform and Soul Priest and cards like that are, they say do a particular thing that we're not really planning on helping players finish that dream. So like we removed Mind Blast and put it to the Hall of Fame, and I think for Velen's like, wow, that was the card.
Was my jam.
Right.
That was what I did.
So we're not really planning on for Priest having a bunch more of those cards in the future. So we wanted to just move those cards to WoW, because why have them if we're not going to allow players to accomplish those dreams, and replace them with cards that are going to help support Priest archetypes that we want to support, and make some changes to their base set in terms of power level that also helps get them to a point where they can play more control archetypes and they can support decks that are actually going to get some more cards in the future.
All right, well, let's take a look at those new cards that are being introduced to solidify these Priest themes. We see Psychic Conjurer, Power Infusion, Scarlet Subjugator, Kulturon Chaplain, Shadowed Ruin, and Natalie Celine, the new legendary. So a lot of kind of different things going on here. One big thing that I note is that there's a couple of good health buffers. The Power Infusion, last time we saw a card like this, it was Power Word Tentacles. It cost 1 more mana.
Yeah.
And now I think with Divine Spirit going away, right, you actually can much more safely actually buff a minion's health.
Yeah, I think that there's 3 here that I think are worth really talking about, and one is Power Infusion. 4 mana 2/6 is just a pretty good buff, and it's something that we wouldn't have been able to do if Divine Spirit is around, or else we could have been able to do it, but it just turns into, it's like, okay, the best way to utilize this is another Divine Spirit deck. We'd like to be able to make buffs in Priest. It's pretty thematically appropriate for what Priest is doing, and then also their hero power heals things, and they have heal spells. So in order to buff a minion's health and then heal it, it just kind of like makes sense and works mechanically. So it's something that we want to do, but it just became hard to do because Divine Spirit existed.
One of my favorite style of Priest decks was always kind of the mid-range minion deck, where it's like, yeah, I'm trying to control the board with my minions, keep my minion alive with heals.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it felt like, well, I didn't really have the tools I needed, or else my deck just became a Divine Spirit Inner Fire deck every single time.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the other 2 cards, Shadowed Ruin and Natalie Celine, are their base level control cards for Priest. One of the things that we struggle with is that we go to make a Priest deck and we go to make a Priest control deck, and they don't have a lot of great options in terms of how do I get to the late game, and then once I get there, how do I win? So we have to build all of that into the expansion, and if any of those cards miss or don't work in that particular archetype, the whole archetype kind of fails.
Well, that's one thing that I've talked about for a long time, is that with the sort of dearth of good control tools in the Priest Classic set, you had to keep making Psychic Screams and Plague of Deaths and all these mass hysterias, all these new mass removal effects. And now with Shadowed Ruin in the Classic set, it's a way for Priests to just guaranteed have that big clear.
Yeah, there'll be a base level clear, and then sometimes in expansions we'll make something that's maybe more powerful than Shadowed Ruin, and for that, standard cycle, they'll have a lot of removal and a lot of control tools. But at least at a base level, they're always going to have something there, and Celine is a really good single target removal as well.
And I think that's also, Natalie Celine, I think, is an excellent sort of classic set legendary.
Yeah.
There's so many players who must have gotten a Prophet Velen and be like, oh, cool, this is going to buff my healing. And then they play it, it's like, this isn't really very good.
Right.
It only really has fueled historically the combo archetypes. And I think that Natalie Celine's more of just an all-purpose, this is just great. You put it into almost any deck and it's going to perform very well.
Yeah, and it's going to have a bunch of health and you're going to be able to heal it. And it's generically powerful, but generically powerful in the way that I think supports archetypes rather than generically powerful in the sense that it's the way that you're going to be winning games forever. So I think it's just a good baseline card for Priest to have.
And these, of course, are not the only things that are sort of coming in to replace the power level of what was sent to the Hall of Fame in Priest. There's a number of other card changes that we can take a look at right now. And these are almost universally buffs, right? You look at Shadow Madness, Shadow or Death, Temple Enforcer, Thoughtsteal, Holy Nova, all reduced in cost by 1. And some of these were cards that already saw a significant amount of play. And then Holy Smite, you take a look down there, it deals 3 damage now. Holy Nova only deals damage to minions, not players. Same thing with Holy Smite. So taking away that burst angle you were talking about earlier from Priest. I think the one kind of nerf here I would say would be Power Word Shield down the left.
I would definitely consider Power Word Shield to be a nerf. Like the power level of Power Word Shield was definitely due to the cycle, the card draw. That's really the reason that you want it, and a little bit less so the buff. And we think that in terms of like getting to late stages of the game and generating resources, like the priests will be doing it in more of a thought steal kind of way, where they're generating things, they're discovering things, and less like they're cycling through their entire deck for some combo that they're trying to do.
And Power Chills wasn't exactly like, it was a powerful card, but it wasn't like an exciting card. It's like you put this in your deck because you could, and you felt silly not to because it was, well, this has a positive effect, costs me 1 mana, draws a card.
Yeah, we
put it in every deck.
Yeah, we talked a lot about like priests having 28 slots,
Yeah.
No, Powered Shield is still like situational now. Some decks may run it.
There's going to be times where there's going to be the combo deck, or there's going to be the the Chef Nomi, where you're trying to draw through everything. You're going to have Auctioneer. Priest will still have a bunch of low-cost stuff. And Holy Nova and Smite, I think, are like the trio of cards, along with Shadow Word Ruin and maybe also with Selene, that these are base level cards that are actually going to be really likely to get you to later stages of the game, where you'll have a base level set of stuff, so we can focus the expansion on having those win conditions. And I think a lot of times when we talk about Priest, people ask like, well, how does Priest win the game? And I think the answer to that is we're going to try to make the expansion content have those different things. So you're ending the game a little bit different each individual expansion, but you have that base level set of stuff, so we don't have to build it in every single year.
Well, as a longtime Priest player, I'm very happy that I won't have to Divine Spirit Inner Fire every time I want to build a deck.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for talking about that. But we have a lot more to talk about, of course.
Sure. Yeah, let's get into more stuff.
We got the ranked system revamp. That was another thing that Ben talked about in his video. Can you talk to me about what the changes are and why they're being made?
Sure. I think the first big visual thing is you're used to, what is the old system? It's ranked 25 to 1. And once you get past 1, you get into Legend. And Legend is staying basically the same, but the rest of the system is totally changing. So you're going to go from Bronze 10 to Diamond 1. There's going to be 5 leagues now.
See that
As you
on the
can
screen now?
see here, there's Bronze, Silver, Gold, Platinum, and Diamond. One of the biggest changes is before you would reset 4 ranks from where you previously were. So if you're rank 1, you would reset to rank 5, and then you would fight your way up through the system after that. In our new system, everyone at the beginning of the season is resetting to Bronze 10, and they're going to try to fight their way back up to where they were before.
Okay, that'll take a while though, right?
Yeah, I think there's a caveat here in that based on how you did in the previous season, we're going to give you a star bonus that allows you to get through the system a lot faster. So you're going to be acquiring rewards along the way. So at each break point, like at Bronze 5 and Silver 10 and Silver 5 and Gold 10, there's going to be that area where you can't D-rank anymore. I think players were really happy with that when we did that to our current system, so we're keeping that in the new system as well.
And then there's twice as many of those.
Yeah, and there's twice as many. So, and every single rank is going to have 3 stars as well. So one of the examples that we like to give is if you were Legend the previous season, based on where you were in Legend, you might get 10 or 11 as a star bonus.
Okay.
So when you win that first game, you might win 11 stars. So you're going to rifle all the way through the system very quickly.
So it's not just bonus stars like we said before. You just start with more stars. It's actually you get multiplicative number of stars with each win.
Right. You get a ton more. I think one of the base level things to get across is it should be really better for everybody. If you're a Legend player and all you really care about is being super competitive with other players and you want to be the top person in the world, you're actually going to get through the system faster. Even though you get reset all the way back to the beginning, you're still going to get through faster than you were previously. And if you're someone that just plays a little bit every month and wants to see some form of progression and be gaining a bunch of stars and getting rewards along the way, then you're going to be able to do that as well.
So speaking of the rewards, there's a lot more of them, right?
Right. Yeah. We also wanted to significantly improve the rewards for the ranked system, and we're attacking that from 3 different angles. First of all, the end of season rewards, the chest at the end of each month that you're familiar with, that was like dust and golden commons and rares. We're switching that over to card packs, epics, rares. We want to help diversify your collection because we think having more cards, more standard cards, is gonna help you play more decks and have more fun with Hearthstone. Another thing we're doing is the first time that you pass each of these ranked floors, especially this is targeted at other newer players, the first time you pass each ranked floor, we're giving you immediate rewards. So the first time you hit gold 10, you'll get 4 random classic rare cards. Or the first time you hit legend, you'll get a free legendary.
That's legendary.
Yes. And finally, the card back. We currently give you the card back at the end of each month. We're going to do that immediately when you hit 5 wins.
And start flexing on people right away.
Yeah. So if this is themed after, the month of whatever, you can start using that card back right away.
Is there not a concern if everyone's being reset down to bronze 10 each month that you're going to have like really experienced players playing against newer players, like kind of bullying them on their way up?
Yeah, this is actually another huge change, is that we're changing how we're matching players. Before, if you were, say, ranked 22, you matched against someone else who also happened to be ranked 22. It didn't matter, if that player just hadn't played for a while and reset back to rank 22 and it was a really unfair fight. We considered it a fair match, like kind of on the back end. Whereas in the new system, we're only matching players who we think are an equal skill level apart from each other. So if you're new to the game, you're graduating from the new player experience, you're going to be matching against someone who we think is really fair for you. So if you're someone that is bronze 10 and you reset back at the beginning of the season from legend, for example, you're going to be facing somebody that is also equivalent skill level to you. And that might sound like, well, I'm probably only going to win about half of my games there. Well, the star bonus should help alleviate that. So you'll still be going through the system, even though you're matching against equal skilled opponents.
But when you do win consistently, the win streak bonus is still there and is multiplicative. So you could get 22 stars for a win.
Yeah. So basically the goal is that you just have better games, better match-made games for everyone all the way up the climb.
Right, and you're still having progression through the system, but you also just have more fair matchmaking. So I think for a lot of our players that were sitting at rank 20 to 25, they'd be kind of hitting a wall against a lot of different players who hadn't played for a while or only play a little bit every month, and kind of having a lot of those unfair matches, whereas that shouldn't happen anymore in the new system.
Well, speaking of players who haven't played in a while, one of the other things that Ben Lee talked about in the video was the returning player experience and the returning player decks. Can you just touch on that a little bit as well?
Yeah, so we've rebuilt our returning player experience. It's now a series of 3 missions where you play as young Illidan, back when he was a mage before he became a demon hunter, sparring with some of his friends. And it sort of catches you up, teaches you about what's been going on in Hearthstone, and reminds you how to play the game. Just a quick catch-up. But when you complete it, we'll give you a deck of a class of your choice, just giving you all the cards. You can mix and match, swap out the cards if you want. They are fully yours to own. And new players are also going to get that same deck choice when they graduate out of the new player rank.
So obviously, with Demon Hunter coming in, first new class in Hearthstone, free deck, great time to come back and play.
Yes.
In addition to this, there's also another big change that Ben Lee talked about, which is the duplicate card protection in packs that now applies across all rarities. Can you talk about this just a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, I think that this is going to be something that really changes the pack opening experience for the better. I think when a new expansion comes out and you get 20, you get 30 packs, and you're opening all of them, one of the disappointing moments can be it's like, oh, I opened an epic or I opened a rare, and it's the same one. Whereas I think at least in your first 20 or 30 packs, you're really just not going to get any duplicates at all. Every single pack that you open is going to be full of brand new stuff. It's going to decrease the amount of packs that you have to open if you're interested in owning the entire set as well. So I think anytime you open a pack, you shouldn't see duplicates until you get up to 2 copies of that card.
Right. So this makes it a lot faster to build the decks that you want and get into playing the things that you want.
It just makes pack opening more fun too. You get a pack, you get a pack from that Tavern Brawl, or you get 100 gold from a couple quests, and you want to buy that pack. It just makes it more exciting to open because you're going to get new stuff. You're going to have access to different experiences.
Well, it seems like a positive for everyone all around.
It's totally positive for everybody.
Awesome. Well, speaking of new stuff, new experiences, new packs to open, we do have another big thing to share with you all. So check this out.
We took a big risk with this unclaimed storage locker, but I got a good feeling about this one. Previous owner was I.L. Ladan. I don't know who that could be. Okay, let's crack it open. Weird lock. Levi, bring the key.
So what are you hoping to find in here?
Loot! Or at least something we can use for the Hearthstone expansion. It fits! Smiley face emoji. Okay, crew, let's see what the cat dragged in. Oh. This locker is legendary. If we have one goal today, it's to find something absolutely priceless.
This looks like a bunch of personal junk.
Yeah, keep looking, Val.
Canned food, bottled water, MREs. This guy sure was prepared.
Oh, check it out. It's an old tube television. That's worth 200 gold.
Really?
A video cassette player. That's like 300 gold right there. There's still tapes. 320.
Dave, you can't just announce random prices for junk and expect us to believe that's what it's worth.
Happens all the time in the storage locker biz. Let's fire this sucker up.
Outland, a wild and dangerous world.
Where you must scavenge what you need to survive.
You will find no justice here. Only despair and darkness.
But if you dare enter my realm, you are not. No, that's not what I was going to say. I should never have taught you to demon hunt.
All the stuff in there is from Outland. Man, that place is awesome.
Here, look, there's probably a bunch of cool stuff we could put in the set in this.
Yes, imagine it. Ashes of Outland.
Is this ash? This place is filthy.
What do you want to do with this skull, boss?
Oh, that is the skull of Gul'dan. Illidan used to hold this whenever he made dramatic emo monologues.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was my favorite monologue.
That's worth at least 1,000 Apexis crystals. Demon hunters can use the skull of Gul'dan for some pretty intense card draw. But if the skull is here, that means... There! The Warglaives of Azeroth, Illidan's weapon of choice. Oh, that's an easy 600 Azerite.
So with these equipped, the Demon Hunter could get in like 4 attacks a turn, right? They don't really mess around.
Yeah, it's insane, isn't it? Check this out. Oh.
Doesn't work.
Fell dog whistle. That's worth 50.
50 what?
50! This whistle really brings a beast to the yard. And with some ingenuity, you can upgrade him.
Hey, boss, this one's moving.
Oh, yeah, danger! Oh, yeah, danger! Whoa, that is an imprisoned observer. So imprisoned demons are dormant for 2 turns. They can't be interacted with, and then they do something really cool. This one's eye lasers can be devastating, but it's okay. We're safe for 2 turns.
How long did you say?
2 turns. Hey, kitty carrier. That's worth a couple bucks.
Hey, I found a spiky, jagged chainsaw.
And some
Metal snakes?
Oh, weird. Yeah, I don't know what this stuff might be worth. We're gonna call my buddy Chad. He's my go-to guy for jagged, rusty chainsaws and metal snakes.
Oh, yeah. What you've got there are relics of a couple of primes. An amazing find. Primes are a new mechanic in Ashes of Outland. Here's how they work. They're powerful characters who get shuffled back into your deck when destroyed. Like Kargath Bladefist. If he's destroyed, he comes back, rebuilt as chainsaw-handed Kargath Prime. A 10/10 who gives you armor? Nasty. And those snakes belong to Lady Vaj. Spell damage is great, but when she comes back, she's bringing a handful of spells with her. In Ashes of Outland, there's a new threat. A rusted legion that's remaking minions into mechanical monstrosities.
Yeah, that's great. But, I mean, look at this stuff here. I mean, this is worth at least, like, what, 60,000 Dark Moon Fair tickets?
Best I could do is 250.
What's this guy know? He doesn't know anything.
I thought you said he was your chainsaw and snake guy.
Yeah, but you know, the thing with a rusted chainsaw hand is you gotta find the right collector.
Fair.
Oh, nice dagger. It's 100 shards. Oh, poisonous. That's like 400 shards. Poisonous daggers are good times. Just, you know, avoid the pointy end. She'll be fine.
Got some glowing orange mushrooms.
Oh, these are glow caps. The Sporagar of Zangarmarsh would use these as a form of currency.
There must be 20 glow caps in here. What's that worth?
Like 20 glow caps. Oh, the verdant spheres of Kael'thas. Kael'thas is cool. We should just give everybody Kael'thas. That's worth at least 3,000 timeless coins. Check me out, check me out, check me out, check me out, check me out. 2,000 timeless coins. Be careful with those.
Oh. Whoa.
Okay, all right, hold still. I think what you're experiencing is called a metamorphosis.
Is that good?
It depends. Do you like to wear hats? So in this form, as a demon hunter, your hero power does 5 damage.
Starting to really like demon hunters.
I know.
Hey, it's the key to another locker.
Oh, wow. Somewhere behind one of these doors, in this maze of storage lockers, is the ultimate artifact. We're gonna find it. We're gonna scour this place. If it takes days, if it takes weeks,
Hey, Dave, is this it?
Oh, that's it. Cool. Whoa! It's a dark portal. We found a dark portal. Imagine what we could summon with this. That's priceless. Priceless.
I think we should go inside.
Okay, I'm calling Chad. We're to find out what this sucker's worth. Yeah, hey, Chad? Yeah, so, we found a dark portal.
Dark portals are bad.
Uh-huh.
Very bad.
Yeah.
You didn't open the dark portal, did you?
Maybe.
Do not go into the dark.
I think we should check it out.
Everyone's gone, so I guess the locker's mine.
Well, there you have it. Ashes of Outland is the next Hearthstone expansion. And I gotta say, Dave Kosak is an absolute national treasure.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
was really something.
Yeah. I think Hadija was also a big part.
Yeah, that was a great video.
So fun.
All right, well, talk to me about Ashes of Outland. What's the deal with Outland? Why are we going there?
Outland. It's this awesome place. I know you played the Burning Crusade expansion for World of Warcraft a little bit.
A little bit. I was the first level 70 on Ner'zhul. Shout out
to Ner'zhul. Yeah, this broken world full of these diverse biomes like Hellfire and Blade's Edge and the beautiful swamps of Zangarmarsh. God, I love Zangarmarsh. But of course, Black Temple, home of Illidan and the Demon Hunters, fits perfectly.
Okay, well, you know what's coming next. All this cool theme stuff, cards.
It's been about a minute.
It's card o'clock.
It's been about a minute. Yeah, he hasn't seen a card. We gotta keep feeding the demon.
Yeah, it's the serotonin like dropped down a little bit in my brain. It's like dopamine.
Well, let's talk about. You saw in the video here imprisoned demons.
Yes.
These are demons that start off dormant for 2 turns, but then do something awesome when they wake up. Well, let's look at another one.
All right.
Let's look at imprisoned satyr.
Ooh, okay.
So when this one wakes up, He's going to reduce the cost of one of the minions, hopefully a big one, in your hand by 5.
5 is a lot.
5 is a lot.
And ooh, that's a big one in the hand right there with the Alexstrasza. So we see it pop up. Boom. Oh, and crucially, that happened before the draw. So you can set this up and say, okay, only have this really big minion in my hand to reduce the cost of.
Right, exactly. We think these imprisoned demons are going to be really exciting for the meta landscape here of Ashes of Outland, because they're not directly interactable while they're dormant, but both players can see them and prepare for them and play around them.
It seems like there's a lot of sort of planning ahead of, okay, this isn't going to bother me for a while, but I gotta figure out what to do when it pops up.
Yeah, you can't stop the awakening from happening, but there's going to be a bunch of things that happen as a result of a dormant minion awakening. So both players can kind of prepare for it. As the player who's playing it, you can protect it and synergize with whatever's going to happen when it awakens, and as the player playing against it, you kind of figure out what to do.
Right.
Yep. So another thing that I want to talk about, another card here. So Ashes of Outland returns to Outland. This amazing nostalgia. We've got these familiar places and faces, like Kael'thas and Lady Vaj and such. But there is not everything's the same. There is a new threat, a rusted legion that has conquered Outland and is remaking it in their image and upgrading people with these augments, especially demons. So the biggest example of this is primes. The Rusted Legion takes fallen heroes, friend or foe, and will return them to the battlefield, upgraded with things like armor plating and buzz saws and laser eyes.
So as the resident chainsaw hand expert, are you the leader of the Rusted Legion? Is that...
Not me, but someone out there is.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's take a look at another prime. You saw the Kargath and Lady Vaj in there. Let's look at Archspor Mashiffin.
Archspor Mashiffin.
Yeah, Archspor Mashiffin. He's the leader of the Sporagar. He's an early game taunt minion, pretty solid stats there. But when he dies,
ooh, oh my,
Mashiffin Prime.
He gets big.
He gets big, and he brings a big friend.
Is that on top of his head there? Is that a one Mashiffin star restaurant?
Yes. Yes,
okay.
It is. That's canon now.
Great.
Yeah. So you probably want just more cards. Let's just take a look at some more cards here.
You read my mind.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's take a look at a couple more legendaries. Here's a legendary weapon for Warrior. The Bulwark of Azzinoth.
I remember the Bulwark of Azzinoth.
Yeah.
This was like the what every tank wanted.
Right. And this is a pretty tanky weapon.
Yeah, I can see.
In this case, it's a shield, but those spikes can definitely do some damage.
Yeah, whenever a hero would take damage, it loses 1 durability. So like they pyroblast you in the face.
1 durability.
All right, but also if a demon hunter just comes up and with their claws,
also 1 durability.
There's a lot of really cool things about this card. The first is like the flavor aspect of it. Obviously with Outland and the Rusted Legion, there's kind of a new story there. But outside of the lore and the story, if you're a World of Warcraft player and you're kind of go back in time and you think about like what was happening during the Burning Legion, there's a lot of items that you remember as well.
Yeah.
And Bulwark of Azzinoth is certainly like one of those. So I think if you're looking for nostalgia as a player, you're going to be able to look back and see a whole bunch of things that you recognize. And then gameplay-wise, there's a lot of decks that actually do pretty big chunks of damage, and I think like Galakrond Warrior is a pretty good example of a deck that's pretty popular right now. Every time they invoke, maybe they have a weapon out and they're doing chunks of like 6, 7 damage to you at a time. And Bulwark is going to be like a huge detriment to how do you play around that? And for something like Demon Hunter, they're going to be able to get around it a little bit easier.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep. Let's look at another familiar face you may remember from Burning Crusade, Terran Gorefiend. Terran Gorefiend is a neutral legendary here that destroys all friendly minions.
Okay.
First half, not so good. Not as good.
Death Rattle resummons them with a buff.
Okay. So, I mean, I can see a couple of ways to use this. One is you just have minions that are already almost dead, and you're like, I'm just going to bring this back. 2, you use it with like a Death Rattle minion. I know Mechanical Whelp itself is going to be rotating with Boomsday Project, but something like that, you suddenly trigger your Death Rattle, and then you get another one when this guy dies.
Exactly.
Okay.
And he's a Death Rattle minion himself,
yeah.
so you can trigger him multiple times and resummon a whole board. etc. Yep. And then lastly, another familiar face. I want to bring up Kael'thas again. We saw this in the video, but Kael'thas is, there's something else you should know about him.
What I want to know is how he got his third orb back after Dave dropped it.
The picture was taken before
Oh, okay,
the orb.
okay. Got it.
Orb glue. So Kael'thas is going to be arriving to the tavern a little early.
Okay, how early are we talking?
Today.
Today?
Today.
Like right now?
You could log in and get Kael'thas.
Okay.
Also free.
All
Everybody,
right.
just log in now. Kael'thas.
Now free Kael'thas.
Right.
Okay, and that's a really exciting card. That's a card that you
Yeah.
can do a lot of crazy stuff with.
Yeah. Every third spell you cast each turn is free.
So like if I play, say I'm playing, I don't know, Shaman, right? It's like,
Right.
okay, I play this, and I can play like Witch's Brew, free Eye of the Storm, or like, if I want to go really crazy, Totemic Might.
Eye of the Storm right away. Yeah, because you have all the totems in play at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Different classes will be able to take advantage
Like
of this card.
Pyroblast people.
Yeah, a lot differently. Like we looked at Twin Slice earlier. And
Oh, yeah.
that's just Kael'thas Twin Slice right there. It's like, what is the third card that we're casting? But we're going to be able to get a 0 cost thing like right away. And
Wow. It's Skull Gul'dan.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
say I have 2 copies of Twin Slice.
You're just going off.
Yeah, so
You're going off.
You have
Okay.
all kinds of stuff to do there. So different classes take advantage of it a little differently. Druid has Innervate. Priest tends to have a lot of low-cost spells.
Yeah.
So it's something that we hope that just as a single card coming out, it'll be change things up and change the way you think about deck building.
That's pretty awesome. So that's happening today.
Mm-hmm.
What else can people expect is going to be happening soon? Like, what's the timeline we're looking at here for the rest of this?
Well, let's take a look at our schedule coming up.
Okay, so the pre-purchase for Ashes of Outline goes live today, along with Kael'thas. Priest Update Hall of Fame coming next week on March 26th. The Ranked Play Overhaul on the season start April 1st, Demon Hunter Prologue April 2nd, and then Ashes of Outland launches April 7th. So this is all happening very fast.
Very fast. The whole reveal season is like a week long. This is a deluge of card stuff here.
Yeah, normally you might have to wait a little bit after whatever the reveal stream is to be like, when's the next thing coming out? But we're in a super condensed period right now. So really from today all the way up until the launch of Demon Hunter, when you're going to be able to play, there's going to be jam-packed with all kinds of new stuff, new information, new stuff to get excited about.
Well, speaking of playing Demon Hunter, I don't want to have to wait until, I want to do it right now.
I think it's probably a good idea, yeah.
Let's go.
I think that's what we're going to close the show with is, I'm going to take on Chalky with some Demon Hunter, so let's go.
All right.
Yes. I'm ready for my Warglaves. Let's go. All right. So.
All right.
I will challenge. Boom. All right, so other than what I've seen so far, anything I should know coming into this battle with Chalky about Demon Hunter here?
He's pretty good.
It's true, Chalky is pretty good.
Yeah, he's decent at the game.
But I mean, I'm going to be the Demon Hunter. We'll see what he's going to be in just a sec.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not gonna, let anyone down at home. We will use all of Illidan's emotes. You won't have to wait to find out what those are.
Good. What do you think? Any guesses on what the emotes are?
One of them is definitely "You are not prepared."
All right.
That's obviously his kind of go-to line ever since the Burning Crusade.
All right.
All right. So I've seen all these cards. I'm gonna mulligan them.
All right.
I'm guessing there probably aren't necessarily cards we haven't seen that are just be revealed in this, but those also just don't necessarily seem like great early plays anyway.
Right. There might be one or two in here, but we'll see.
Umberwing, Twin Slice, Coordinated Strike.
Yep.
I am ready. So first off,
turn 1.
As always, threaten. There it is.
There you go.
There it is. All right. Well, now we'll greet him.
Evil draws
Okay.
close.
All right.
And this is a new card, by the way.
Yeah.
A 7-cost 4/3 weapon also damages minions next to whoever your hero attacks. Okay. Well, we'll punch him. Turn 1 hero power punch.
Yep.
There we go. So this is a pretty interesting card. I mean, it was up on one of those slides that we saw before. Didn't have a chance to go over it. It's kind of like the Death Knight Warrior weapon. But
Shadow
you just
Mourn,
get it here.
Yep.
Obviously doesn't change your hero power like
Right.
does, but.
Oh.
Hello, Pharaoh Cat. Ooh,
All right,
well,
all right, so
we drew an Outcast card. It's right
did.
there. I want to play the Umberwing, though.
Okay.
We'll get to this eventually, I feel like.
Yeah.
This is going to get me 2 1/1s right now. And then I'm going to protect my 1/1s with this Twin Slice.
Sounds good.
Boom. And then... Okay, so it's not quite like Twin Spell. It goes to the right of your hand, which is relevant for where your cards go. Is actually very relevant for Outcast. So that being something to keep keep in mind is important when you're playing Demon Hunter.
Exactly.
All right, well, I got a couple of souls already. And we're gonna make some more next turn. I feel like so. We need to find something to do with all these souls. Chaos Nova. All right, well, I think we're just gonna play this.
Yeah, sure.
And it is sort of interesting because I can so easily hero power. It's like, do I want to just use this to do 1 now? But I think I'm going to hold on to the weapon for now.
You can hold on to it.
Yeah, we're going to hold on to this and say go here.
You don't have another weapon that you're planning to equip soon.
I do here, but that's a ways out.
That's a ways down. But also, that's 7 mana. That's kind of clogging up your ability to outcast.
It is.
So.
Well, we're setting up. We're setting up. I mean, and this is, even if I don't outcast, this is still just draw a card.
Draw a card.
Right?
Yep.
I want to outcast it because outcasting is cool.
Right.
Bone Wraith. All right. Oh, hello. Outcast, draw a card. Here, I'll show the people who may have missed it earlier. Silence the enemy minion, outcast, draw a card. So this is the far right of my hand. Outcast. Boom. I draw the card. Ooh, what is this?
Blade Dance.
Deal your hero's damage equal to your attack to 3 random enemy minions. Huh. Well, I don't want to use that
it's like
now.
An AoE savagery, kind of.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
That's interesting.
But you have a lot of ways to buff your attack.
Right.
And that counts as a weapon too. So.
Yeah. Huh. That card seems very powerful.
Certainly can be.
Wow. Okay. Well. I think we're probably just gonna play the second site here because I don't think I want to do this.
Yep.
We'll play the second site. We'll just draw 1 card. That's fine. The Skull of Gul'dan, but it's not Outcast. No.
Well, it is right if you had the mana.
Right. I wish I drew this next turn. What was I doing?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna hero power.
We could kill it off with everything, but
yeah. I think I still just want to punch it for 2, and then these are gonna attack my opponent's base.
All right. And now I think we hope we draw some cheap stuff with our next couple of draws so we can get that Skull of Gul'dan.
Uh-oh. Oh, he's Galakron Rogue. Okay. Well, worst case scenario, we have this Chaos Nova still.
We do.
We can even just, like, Blade Dance these. Ooh, after hero attacks, gain 1 attack.
Yep. We are very close to being able to Skull of Gul'dan. Not quite. Hopefully our next one.
We're gonna play this guy, and then I'm gonna hero power, and then I'm gonna second slice, and then I'm gonna blade dance. Boom! Look at that.
Okay.
I mean, I probably could have done that, but this guy, attack, buff this guy. We might have been able to save that and use that better later, but I'm getting my damage in, getting this guy buffed up, protecting this guy who I can keep growing.
Right.
Uh-oh. Leave Battle Fiend alone. This is a pretty powerful 1-drop. One cost 2/2 that grows. And in a class that can really easily grow it because you have the 1-cost hero power, all the weapons in cheap ways. This guy seems awesome.
And if you notice that Warglaive of Azzinoth lets you attack multiple times in a turn, you can chain together quite a few upgrades to that.
So I have a kind of a clunky hand for this turn. Let's draw something that costs 1.
Let's draw something that costs 1. Or just 0.
Oh God. Boom.
That's good.
Boom.
That's good. That's good. All right, we are back in the game.
Oh yeah, so we just outcasted our Skull of Gul'dan, makes these all cost 2 less. Ooh my, Metamorphosis. Do we have the costume for me if I play this? That Hadija had last time?
That would be great.
We had the Warglaives on set. So.
We do.
Yeah, all right, we'll say go here. All right, well now I have this Flame Reaper if he plays multiple things. We've got this Metamorphosis, we're good to go. And then this is the big one, Command the Illidari. 6 1/1s with Rush.
Let's make sure we combo that with something though.
Okay. Ooh. Praise be to Galakron.
Well,
so this is a legendary spell, by the way.
It is, yes.
So you can only have 1 Metamorphosis in your deck. pretty interesting stuff. It's kind of like a delayed pyroblast.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so how do we want to deal with this?
I think what I want to do is hit him in the face. He's only at 18. He's playing rogue, right? And I have this metamorphosis, which is going to do 10 damage.
Certainly could.
So I could like Chaos Strike. Because I could leave this in play because I have this Chaos Nova, right?
Right.
I'm going to start with Chaos Strike.
Okay.
Boom. 2.
There's a...
Oh, okay. Well, I got to do this.
Well, okay, so we're going to draw 4 cards off that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cards.
Oh, you can wait and draw more if you want, but I don't know if we need more.
I don't think I mean, I'm not going to be able to fit that many more cards away.
It's fair.
All right, boom. Serve your master, guys.
Vengeance!
All right.
Vengeance. Uh-oh, roping. Feast of Souls, draw 4. Oh my god, another Feast of Souls. Well, now we'll just, oh god, this punch for 5. Now let's take another look at some of these. We saw this guy before. Outcast, immune this turn with Rush. The Wraith Spike Brute, 2/6 taunt after his attack, do 1. I don't think I'm going to be needing this. I'm the one attacking him this time. And then this one was one of the basic cards.
Yeah.
7/4 for 5. This is like...
Get him.
Nightblade has been working out. Like, this is Nightblade became a demon hunter. It's like, all right, I'm gonna. People have been mocking me for years, and now Warglave's on.
Oh,
Galakron. It's only a 2 invoked Galakron, not that big. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Warblades. So, So my hero power still costs 1 when I switch?
Still costs 1.
Okay, so...
if you want to be able to attack this turn, you might want to need hero power first.
Well, I'm going to attack with this. And then, well, so this would be 2, then 1, and then 5 for this. I think...
But you haven't attacked with yet.
Oh, this is your attack, not damage. Oh,
yeah.
Good call. Good.
Yeah.
But I have Twin Slice.
You can use Twin Slice for
Boom.
that. Exactly.
All right, we'll get the 1 from Twin Slice.
Okay.
Turn on the Glaive-bound Adept, Crunch. Then we'll Metamorphosis.
Now I am complete.
Oh, that's cool. The wings come out. I got wings now. I can, boom!
Yep.
That's a cool animation. Oh wait.
How is it even possible?
I'm not gonna finish this without using all the emotes.
My thanks. A blunder.
A blunder.
You are not prepared.
That's true. He's not. He's not ready for this.
He still has some Galakron.
He does have 2 Galakron. Ooh, Kronks. Okay. All right. Boom. All these guys are dead. Arrow Cat.
This is not...
Oh, he's got taunt now, though.
Okay.
All right.
Oh.
Oh, wow. I'm at... So I am at...
I think
I can just Warglaves... I can Warglaves plus
Second
this.
slice.
Attack. Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
And this is... The lethal off of Warglaves is just so perfect.
You possess vengeance is mine.
Look at this. Boom. Boom, and kaboom to the face.
100% win rate on Demon Hunter. Right here.
World's best Demon Hunter right now. No one else can possibly top me, right?
Sure. I cannot.
All right, well, that was awesome. We saw a lot of super cool cards, not only in this game, but throughout this entire stream. So thank you, Chad, and thanks to Dean for joining us here for the Year of the Phoenix Showcase. Thank you very much to you at home for watching, and we will see you all in Outland.